Howdy folks, Todd here with Great Escape Farms. Today I'm going to give you a video tour of our farm, just kind of an overview with a lot of links to more detailed views of certain things in case you find interest in a specific aspect here. We did a farm crawl this past weekend. It was sponsored by the Hampshire County, West Virginia Visitors Bureau, and it was basically 28 farms, I think it was, where people could come around and check out your farm, walk and get tours and stuff. So this is the same tour that we gave them, only I'm giving you the abbreviated version because I have links of other things to give you the detailed version on it. So I'm gonna turn the camera around, take you on the quick tour, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you. So for the farm crawl, once you entered into the gate, we had a tent set up here where you could go through the various drawings and things that we had. We had a couple here on the farm, and they also had some in the county. And you can sign up for our email list to see where we are vending at various different farmers markets around here. Then we came down and we talked about the Japanese beetle traps, and we have several of them throughout. We're running an experiment on YouTube, so we have a little information out on those. I'll include a link for you. And we'll be doing a product review and comparison later on in the year. At that point, we had a brooder set up here, our chicken brooder, which we also use for our guineas, and I'll include a link on that. We have a detailed video on that. It's a high-tech brooder with a lot of internet-capable remote monitoring and stuff, because I travel a good bit, so I can keep an eye on the girls, make sure everything is good with them. Then we talked about our chicken tractor over here. And again, we have a video on the chicken tractor. It's a John Siskovich design, and he sells that design online. I did some enhancements. The tractor online it is designed for meat birds. Mine is for layers. So I added roost poles, I added the nest boxes, and I changed up the feeder. I added electric. I changed the overall pitch of the roof so I can easily get in and out. So made some modifications on it, and they are free range in the chicken tractor. So I move the chicken tractor daily, and then they can free range in the electronet here, and all of that the electronet gets moved every 3 to 4 days. The chicken tractor gets moved every day or so. Then we talked about the chicken coop and run down here, and the chicken coop and run, I haven't done a detailed video on that yet, so that one will be coming in the coming month or so as soon as I get time. Again, the girls are free ranged in the electronet here, and that gets moved every couple of days. Back behind that is a guinea coop, which I am still building. I'm not done with the cupola and the roost poles and several aspects in there. So I will have a detailed video on that coming in the future, showing the finished product there. We talked about this line right here of plants, which is what I call the contour plant line. It is perfectly level. It was not a ditch or anything. And then we built up with mulch, and that slows rainwater down. Doesn't stop it, but it slows it down. We just this spring put in a swale here, and it will connect to another swale which is behind our garage over there, and we do have a video on that one as well as one next door, and all of that will connect together. So we'll have over 850 feet of continuous swale, and that is a multi-part process here just because it takes so long. As an individual couple here running a farm, it takes a long time to do some of this infrastructure work, so we're doing this in phases. Then we went over to the perennial sheet mulch garden, which is right here, and we had some edibles in there, so let's go take a look in there. In the sheet mulch garden here, we went through and we looked at a lot of different things, and we talked about a lot of different things. So in the back we have Turkish rocket, and that is a broccoli substitute. We have sea kale, which tastes like asparagus when it's cooked. We have flying dragon trifoliate orange, which has a number of oranges here, and it also has some very serious thorns here. We have bush cherries. We have a che tree, and I think its other name is bottle brush tree, something like that. Lots of fruit on it. And then we looked at the lemon balm here, and we actually tried that. It tastes like lemon head candies. This is a honeyberry bush, or actually 2 honeyberry bushes grown together here, and it is our first fruit on the property all year. It produces about a month before blueberries, tastes similar to blueberries, but it's actually in the honeysuckle family. Then we wander over here. We talked about aronia or chokeberry. We talked about and tried nasturtium. So the flowers taste like black pepper and the stems taste like horseradish. And to cleanse the palate after that, we came over and we had anise hyssop, which tastes like black licorice. And if you wanted to try another black licorice, we have a fennel plant here. By the way, the anise hyssop, the nasturtium, the fennel, all of these are volunteers that came up from previous years when they had dropped seeds, and I have them all over here. Then we went back and we tried lovage, and it is a perennial that has a celery-like flavor. A couple of groups got to try borage, which has flowers that taste like cucumber. So we tried a number of different things in here. Then we went over, and I will include a video here about the perennial sheet mulch gardening as far as putting it together and the different tours I've given over the years. Next up, we went over and we looked at the pawpaws. We have some pawpaws with fruit that is growing and will be ripe in September. So we have several different pawpaws on property. We have the little ones here. We have a little one there, a bigger one there, a medium-sized one here, a smaller one there. We have somewhat of a large one here, and then we have this one, and this one has the most fruit on it this year. And you can see we have a good bit of fruit on this thing, kind of all over the place, including up high. I'll include a link on hand pollinating these. This is actually the one that I hand pollinated, although I didn't hand pollinate up high, so I have enough pollinators here to do the job for me. I don't need to hand pollinate next year. Next, we moved over just a bit and we talked about this, which is our food forest, and we have over 117 different plants in here. That number varies. Sometimes it's been more, sometimes less, but from here to the backside of the garage, we have all 7 layers of a food forest. So we have the canopy, we have the understory, we have the shrub, we have the herbaceous, we have the rhizomial, we have the vine, and I'm missing one. I forget what it is on camera, of course. So after this, we came over and we looked at a raspberry. We actually spent 5 minutes around this raspberry bush talking about the difference between raspberry and blackberry and how to identify them. The fact that the root system is perennial and the upper canes are biannual. The difference between June bearing and ever bearing. And I will be doing a future video on this. I don't think I have one out right now. Then we moved over here and we talked about microclimate. And microclimate is an area where you can change your zone a little bit. So we are zone 6 here, and we can grow zone 7 plants by being on a south facing wall. And I have big pots here that are blocking the wind, and I can actually help improve it a little bit more with our banana plant here. And I can put in some leaves and stuff, some oak leaves around it, and just to help give it extra mulch and kind of bump us up another zone. Then we moved back here and we talked about multiple different ways to propagate plants via seed, via tipping, and primarily we focused on hardwood and softwood cuttings. And hardwood is done in winter when things are dormant. Then we talked about softwood, which is where you take the cuttings in the summertime and you have to give them a mist every so often. And I'll see if I can find a video and give you more detail on that. Then we came back and we talked about our rainwater harvest system. We have a 3,100 gallon rainwater harvest system here. We talked in great detail on this, a lot of interest in it. We're getting ready to expand. I don't know if you can see in the back there, I have another tank, so we're gonna raise this up to 4,500 gallons. Our entire nursery system is run off of rainwater. We don't use any well water for that. So we would have to in a drought, but this year we've had a couple, not much rain, but we've had a couple of real quick storms, and it has helped out a lot just by collecting the rainwater here. Then they had the option of coming back and looking over our nursery in the back here. We have over 100 different plants, different varieties of plants for sale back here, and all of them are Almost all are edible. We have a couple of medicinal plants back there. And by the way, this is the swale I was talking about earlier that will connect up with the other swale on the other side of property over there. So I need to do the end section as well as extend this one around and extend the other one. So I probably have another 4 different sections to do here in order to connect it all together. So that's just a real quick overview of what we did on the Hampshire County Farm Crawl in July of 2022.